Grape-eating birds are among the most aggressive enemies of vines. The only efficient way to protect grape crops from these pests is to apply proper netting. Although this is a very sufficient way to prevent damage, it is also very labor-intensive. Birds usually start pecking grapes when they are about 15% sugar content. Wine cannot be made from such unripened grapes. Growers usually wait until grapes are about 21% sugar content before harvesting. This gives as much as a 3-week head start to the birds. Netting should be in place before the sugar content of the grapes becomes tempting to the birds. However, since it only takes approximately 3 weeks for grapes to reach the desirable level of sugars for winemaking, the netting should be removed right before harvesting takes place. Most vineyard nettings are made of a lightweight plastic mesh material and are used to protect vineyards from pest birds. There are many different types of netting. They can be made of various materials and are available in large and small sizes. Nets are made of a lightweight material and are easy to work with. Most nettings are 350 yards in length but can vary in width depending on the trellis system within the vineyard. Some of the labor involved before you can begin the netting process includes hedging the vineyard. Hedging is one of the most important parts of growing grapes. If this is not done correctly, then your grapes will grow and ripen unevenly. The vines should also be run through the top wires so that it is easier to cover the vines with the netting. This prevents the vines from getting damaged during the netting process and helps prevent the vines from growing through the netting to some extent. The netting machine is used when applying netting over the top of the vines. There are 2 rings on the netting machine that the material is threaded through. These rings guide the netting over the center of the row. The center of the netting is marked to assist with placement of the netting. Following the machine on each side of the row, 2 people pull the net from side to side to adjust the netting and make sure that it is centered. Then they pull the netting down and hook it to the trellis post to keep it in place. After the netting has been placed on the vines, another person should place plastic hooks called rima clips through the netting to ensure that it is completely covering the canopy. A rima clip is specially designed for use in vineyards. These clips will break if too much stress is placed on them or if they are accidentally ran through the farm equipment. Although they are necessary, they are very time-consuming. Therefore, they should be placed where needed to keep pests out. To remove the netting, the process is similar to application. First, all the rima clips must be taken off the netting. Then the netting machine comes through each row and the 2 people unhook the netting from the trellis system, and the person standing on the netting machine manually pulls the material through the rings and places it in the bag. The netting should be soaked in a bleach solution for sanitization purposes and hung up to dry. It may then be placed back in the bag for safekeeping until next year. If netting is properly taken care of, it may be used for numerous years.